What's up guys, what's up? My name is Kelvin, I'm a graphic designer. For this video we're just going to make something very simple. I'm going to show you two ways on how to make anything good. The last one, it's a little bit special, right? So the first one is very simple as always. We all know the first one. If you don't know the first one, you are probably a beginner or someone who's just starting off with Photoshop. And then one thing I forgot to mention, always when you're making something like this, make sure your subject is in black and white, no other color. In fact, no color, because black and white are not colors, right? So the first one I'm going to do, guys, will be very simple. I just go here and then the color lookup, and then just clip it in, like the effect coming down, into from this to this, clip in. And then once you clip it in, and then just change here to edgy ember, and then you should have something like this, gold. And then if you feel like it's a little bit too much, always reduce the opacity, and then add contrast and brightness and contrast, and then just increase and then decrease, and then you should have something like that. So from this to this. All right, so that's the first way. So for the second one is you simply go here and then select curves. All right, so once you go on curves, clip in the curves, and then go where it says red. All right, and then select red, and then just increase the red, and then go on green, decrease the green, and then go on blue, decrease the blue. Something like this. This is like the perfect way to make gold in any software. Any software that has curves, you can always use this one, and then the gold will just come out on its own. All right, and then you can play around with the colors if you want. The red and everything, you can play around with the colors. How to make a person gold. All right, so just go here and then open up new curves, something like that, and then let's clip the curves, clipping. All right, once you clip it, and then make 4 or 3 waves. All right, so the first one, which is that one, and then the second one, third, fourth, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 5. Remember, always make your subjects in black and white. All right, so we go hue and saturation, and then just clip it here, and then reduce the opacity. It should be black and white. All right, so if you feel like the subject isn't looking very well, you can always add the contrast or brightness and contrast. So let's just add something like that, and if you can't find it, just go here and then brightness and contrast. I just duplicated the one I got here. Let's change now color lookup, and then we should have something like, where is it, edgy ember, and then there's our gold, and then clip it inside, reduce the opacity, something like that. And then always when you reduce the opacity on top, you should always add contrast and then brightness for brightening up, and then it should look something like that. So this is for edgy ember. All right, so now let's use the one we made here for curves. All right, so let's take the one for curves. It should look something like, all right, let's just duplicate these. All right, let's just make them 2, and then delete the gold here, and then get the one we made from curves. All right, and then they should look something more like this. All right, but the cool way is that you can always measure these, and if you feel like it's too much, also reduce the opacity, and then clip it, and then you should have something like that, maybe something like this. So it just depends with the type of feel you want. If you want to do something vintage, I suggest you go for this one. And then if you want to do something like premium, and then a new class, all right, vintage, this one works well with vintage colors, and then this one works well with bright colors. All right, like bright saturated colors. This one works well with dark colors. All right, it just depends with the one you want, but I always use both depending on which side I want to do it. And then you can make them uniformly, because the curves, you can always change them according to how you want. All right, It can be a little bit difficult or a little bit challenging, but the curves, I know the curves can be any color, right? The curves can be any color. That's the good part about the curves. So master the curves, and then the good part about the curves again, you can master it in any software. Once you know it from Photoshop, you can do it in Premiere Pro, you can do it in DaVinci Resolve, you can do it on any software that use curves, right? And then for the color lookups, it's only effective with Photoshop, because if the other software doesn't have color lookups, then you're stuck to make God. You don't know how to make God. So if you want to make God, you can always use the curves. If the software has curves, you can always make God the same way I did here. Peace out.